Captain Patricia Miller stood at the bridge of the USV Harbinger, her eyes fixed on the strange object that had appeared at the edge of their sensors. After 15 years of deep space exploration, humanity had finally found proof they weren't alone. The only problem was, it didn't look like the aliens were happy to see them. "Analysis complete, Captain," reported Susan Baker from her science station. "The structure appears to be some kind of monitoring station. It's been carefully hidden behind Saturn's rings, using them as a natural cloak." Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic display. "And it's been there for a very long time." Patricia felt a chill run down her spine. The implications were clear. Someone had been watching Earth, studying them, possibly for centuries. She turned to her first officer, John Carter. "Status of our quantum drive." "Operating at peak efficiency," John replied, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "The new artificial quantum field generator is stable. We can jump back to Earth in minutes if needed." The discovery of their observation post had clearly caught the aliens off guard. Within hours of the Harbinger detecting their station, 5 ships had emerged from what appeared to be holes in space itself. They were beautiful in a terrifying way, smooth, organic shapes that seemed to flow rather than fly through the void. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," called out Communications Officer Peter Walsh. It's in perfect English." Patricia straightened her uniform. "Put it through." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that looked almost like a cross between a praying mantis and a jellyfish. Its translucent body pulsed with soft bioluminescence as it spoke. "Greetings, USV Harbinger. I am Observer Tylith of the Galactic Council's Monitoring Division. Your detection of our facility was unexpected. We had calculated another 50 years before your species developed sensors capable of penetrating our concealment technology." Patricia kept her voice professional, even as her heart raced. "This is Captain Patricia Miller. You've been watching us." "Indeed. It is standard procedure for the Council to monitor developing species until they achieve faster-than-light travel through natural quantum manipulation. However, the alien's luminescence flickered with what seemed like concern. Your method of achieving FTL is disturbing." "Disturbing." Patricia exchanged glances with John. "Our artificial quantum field generator works perfectly fine. We've made dozens of successful jumps." "That is precisely what disturbs us," Sylith replied. "Your species has taken quantum mechanics, the delicate fabric of space-time itself, and forced it to bend to your will through artificial means. This is not the natural path of evolution." Susan spoke up from her station, unable to contain her scientific curiosity. "Are you saying there's another way to achieve faster-than-light travel?" "All Council species develop their abilities through gradual evolution of their neural patterns, allowing natural manipulation of quantum fields. What your species has done." Tylith's body pulsed with darker colors. "You have built machines to tear open space itself. The energy readings from your drive are like nothing we have ever seen." The bridge crew shared looks of pride mixed with concern. Humanity had always done things their own way, but now it seemed their approach to space travel was considered radical by galactic standards. "Captain," whispered John, "look at their ship's positioning. They're slowly surrounding us." Patricia had noticed it too. The alien vessels had been gradually moving to cut off their escape routes. She kept her voice calm as she addressed Tylith. "Your concern is noted, Observer, but humanity has spent centuries developing this technology. It's safe, efficient, and thoroughly tested." "Safe." Tylith's translator somehow managed to convey incredulity. "Your drive creates artificial quantum fields strong enough to register on sensors across half the galaxy. The Council has received numerous reports of disturbances in the quantum fabric near Earth. Many species feared a natural disaster was imminent." "Those would be our test flights," Susan chimed in, her scientific enthusiasm still overwhelming her sense of diplomatic caution. "The quantum ripples dissipate harmlessly within hours." "Harmlessly." Kyleth's body now pulsed with rapid colors that the translator didn't attempt to interpret. Captain Miller, I have been instructed to inform you that all human space vessels must power down their quantum drives immediately. The Council will provide approved FTL technology once your species has properly evolved to use it. This may take several thousand years, but absolutely not. Patricia cut in, her voice firm. Humanity has worked too hard to achieve the stars. We won't give up our technology because it makes the Council uncomfortable. The alien's colors darkened further. This is not a request, Captain. The Council has observed that your species has a disturbing tendency to weaponize everything you discover. Your artificial quantum manipulation technology cannot be allowed to spread. Sir, Peter called out urgently, the alien ships are powering up some kind of energy field. Patricia didn't hesitate. Shields up. Alert Earth Command. John, warm up the quantum drive. Captain Miller. Kyleth's voice had taken on a harder edge. Power down your shields and drives. This is your final warning. The Council will not allow. Patricia made a cutting motion, and Peter ended the transmission. Susan, what kind of energy field are they generating? It appears to be some kind of quantum suppression field, Susan reported, her fingers flying over her console. But it's configured to counter natural quantum manipulation. Our artificial fields operate on completely different principles. Can they stop us from jumping? Susan grinned. Not a chance. Their tech is elegant, but it's designed to work with their understanding of quantum mechanics. Our brute force approach would tear right through it. Patricia allowed herself a small smile. Send all sensor data to Earth Command. They need to know what we're dealing with. She took a deep breath. John, plot a course home. Let's show our new friends what human space technology can really do. The quantum drive hummed to life, its artificial fields ignoring the aliens' attempts to suppress them. The last thing Patricia saw before they jumped was the panicked reaction of the alien ships as their suppression field failed completely. As the Harbinger flashed back toward Earth at speeds that violated several impossible laws of physics, Patricia knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had clawed its way to the stars through centuries of innovation, engineering, and determination. If the Galactic Council thought humans would give that up because it wasn't the natural way, they were about to learn a harsh lesson about human stubbornness. The war for humanity's technological independence was about to begin, and thanks to their disturbing approach to quantum physics, Earth's forces would be anything but helpless. Lieutenant Benjamin Hayes stood at attention in the Solar Shield control room, watching the massive Xylaxian fleet appear at the edge of Mars orbit. The alien ships emerged from their quantum tunnels like silver raindrops falling upward, each vessel larger than anything humanity had ever built. But Ben wasn't worried. Size wasn't everything, and he had a few tricks up his sleeve. Solar Shield platform is ready, Lieutenant, reported Maria Rodriguez, his weapons systems officer. All gravity manipulation systems are online. How many ships are we looking at? Ben asked, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. 57 capital ships, sir, Maria answered. That Xylaxian High Commander's vessel is at the center of their formation. They're moving to establish a blockade around Mars colony. The last 2 weeks had been tense. After the USV Harbinger's encounter with the Galactic Council observation post, Earth had been preparing for the worst. The Council's demand that humanity abandon their unnatural space technology had been met with a unanimous no from every nation on Earth. Now it seemed the Council was ready to enforce their demands. Message from Mars Defense Command, called out Communications Officer Alan Wright. The Xylaxians are demanding we power down all quantum technology and evacuate the colony. They're calling it a safety quarantine, for our own protection. Ben shook his head. Send them our standard response. Mars colony stays, and so does our tech. He turned to his engineering chief, Linda Parker. How's our new toy doing? Linda grinned as she monitored the experimental system they'd installed just days ago. The micro-singularity generator is purring like a kitten, sir, ready to show these aliens what happens when humans play with gravity. The solar shield wasn't just a defensive platform. It was humanity's answer to the Council's attempts to suppress their technology. While alien species had evolved to manipulate quantum fields naturally, humans had taken a different approach. They built machines that could bend gravity itself. "Sir, the Tylaxians are moving into attack formation," Maria reported. "They're charging their quantum suppression fields." "Just like we expected," Ben nodded. "Let them get nice and close. Linda, start spinning up the singularities. Maria, plot me a gravitational slingshot course using Jupiter's field." The alien fleet moved forward with precision, their organic-looking ships flowing through space in perfect formation. Their quantum suppression technology might work against other Council species, but human tech operated on completely different principles. "They're in range," Maria announced. "Suppression field active, and having zero effect on our systems." "Of course not," Linda smirked. "Can't suppress what you don't understand. Microsingularities are at full spin, sir. Ready on your command." Ben took a deep breath. What they were about to do would either save Mars' colony or start a war. Though given the Council's attitude, war seemed inevitable either way. "Send them one last warning. They have 30 seconds to withdraw." The Xylaxian response was immediate. Their flagship launched a quantum pulse designed to disable conventional drives. It passed harmlessly through the solar shield's defenses. "Time's up," Ben said quietly. "Linda, release the first singularity. Maria, execute slingshot pattern Alpha." What happened next would become legendary in both human and alien military history. The microsingularity, a tiny artificial black hole precisely engineered to evaporate after exactly 10 seconds, shot out from the solar shield platform. Using Jupiter's massive gravitational field as a natural accelerator, it curved through space at impossible speeds. The Xylaxian fleet's sensors detected the singularity too late. Their ships scattered, breaking their perfect formation as the tiny point of infinite density whipped past them, its gravitational wake tossing ships aside like leaves in a hurricane. The singularity evaporated harmlessly in a burst of Hawking radiation, but the message had been sent. By the void. The Xylaxian commander's transmission crackled through their comms. You created a controlled black hole. That's beyond reckless. Such technology could tear reality apart." "Only if you don't know what you're doing," Ben replied calmly. "We've been studying gravity manipulation for centuries. Now about that quarantine. Launch 2 more singularities," he ordered quietly. "Different vectors this time. Show them we can hit any point in their formation." The alien fleet's sensors lit up as 2 more artificial gravity wells appeared, dancing through space in precise patterns that used the solar system's natural gravity fields as amplifiers. The Xylaxian ships scrambled to evade, their formerly elegant formation dissolving into chaos. "By all that's sacred," the Xylaxian commander's voice shook. "Your species truly has no concept of proper technological development. Using stellar bodies as weapons, creating and destroying black holes at will. This is madness." "This is engineering," Ben corrected. "Humanity didn't have the luxury of evolving natural quantum abilities. We had to find our own way to the stars. Now, I suggest you withdraw your fleet before we demonstrate some of our other madness." Linda's console beeped. "Sir, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations. They're preparing to retreat." "Let them go," Ben ordered. "But make sure our sensors record everything. Earth Command will want a full analysis of their capabilities." The Xylaxian fleet didn't even try to maintain formation as they fled, their ships diving into quantum tunnels as fast as they could generate them. Within minutes, Mars space was clear of alien vessels. Ellen laughed from his communication station. "Mars colony is cheering, sir. They're calling it the 10-second terror." Apparently watching those alien ships run from our little gravity show really boosted morale. Ben allowed himself a small smile. The Council needed to learn that humanity's different approach to space technology isn't a weakness. We may not have evolved natural quantum abilities, but we've got something better: human ingenuity. "Sir," Maria called out, her voice serious. Long-range sensors are picking up massive fleet movements near the Council's core worlds. I don't think they're done with us yet. No, Ben agreed, watching the tactical display light up with hundreds of alien signatures. This was just their warning shot, and we just showed them that their usual methods of technological suppression won't work on us. He straightened his uniform. Send everything we learned to Earth Command. The real fight is about to begin. In the vast darkness of space, Mars Colony continued its work, protected by human technology that the Galactic Council considered impossible and dangerous. The aliens would be back, probably with new tactics designed to counter humanity's reckless innovations. But humanity had spent its entire history doing what aliens considered impossible, and they weren't about to stop now. The war for humanity's right to develop technology their own way was just beginning. And thanks to engineers like Linda Parker, who could create stable micro-singularities as easily as ancient humans had forged steel, Earth's defenders were ready for whatever came next. Admiral Laura Martinez stood at the viewing window of the Council's central station, trying not to show how impressed she was by its size. The massive structure floated at the intersection of three major trade routes, its crystalline spires stretching out into space like frozen lightning. Behind her, Chief Engineer Kevin Wright whistled softly as he studied the readings on his tablet. "Their power systems are beautiful," he said quietly. "All biological quantum reactors, working in perfect harmony with their evolved abilities." "Remember why we're here, Kevin," Laura replied. "They didn't invite us to admire their technology. They invited us to explain ours." The council chamber ahead of them was massive, with seats for representatives of over 200 species. Today, all of those seats were full. News of the Mars incident had spread quickly through the galaxy, and everyone wanted to see these humans who dared to use technology in ways the Council considered impossible. "The Council will now hear the Earth delegation," announced the speaker, a tall being made of what looked like living crystal. "Please step forward and present your case." Laura walked to the center of the chamber, Kevin following close behind. They had spent weeks preparing for this moment, choosing carefully what to reveal and what to hold back. Earth's governments had agreed that some show of strength was necessary, but they didn't want to start a galaxy-wide panic. "Honorable Council members," Laura began, her voice clear and strong. "I am Admiral Laura Martinez of Earth's United Space Force. With me is Chief Engineer Kevin Wright, who will help explain our technological development path." The chamber buzzed with what their translators said were whispers of concern. The crystalline speaker raised a limb for silence. "Before you begin, Admiral, we must address the Mars incident," the speaker said. "Your defensive platform created controlled micro-singularities. The Council has never encountered a species willing to take such risks." Laura nodded. "That's because you've never encountered a species like humans before. Kevin, please show them our standard containment protocols." Kevin stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "This is how we control artificial gravity wells," he explained, showing diagrams that made several council members lean forward in their seats. "We use engineered quantum field stow." "Stop," called out an Arxian elder, its ancient form trembling. "Those calculations, they're impossible. The energy requirements alone would tear apart any natural quantum field." "That's why we don't use natural quantum fields," Kevin replied with a smile. "We build artificial ones, contained within engineered spaces that can handle the stress. Watch." He pressed a button on his tablet, and a small device on the floor activated. A controlled gravity well appeared in the center of the chamber, causing several council members to cry out in alarm. "Don't be afraid," Laura said calmly. "This is a teaching model, operating at less than 1% of full power. Kevin, show them the containment field." The engineer nodded and touched another control. A blue grid appeared around the gravity well, showing exactly how human technology controlled and directed the forces involved. "Fascinating," muttered a Zelvan scientist, its tentacles waving in excitement. They're not trying to work with natural quantum fields at all. They're creating artificial spaces where different physical laws apply. Exactly, Kevin beamed. We couldn't evolve natural quantum abilities like your species did, so we found another way. We built machines that could create and control their own quantum spaces. The chamber erupted in argument. Some council members were clearly terrified by the implications, while others seemed excited by the possibilities. The speaker had to flash their crystalline form 3 times to restore order. Admiral Martinez, the speaker said gravely, surely you understand our concerns. Your species is creating artificial physics, controlled singularities, and engineered quantum spaces. The potential for disaster has been calculated, tested, and contained. Laura cut in firmly. Humans have been studying these forces for centuries. Yes, our methods are different from yours, but they're not wrong. They're just human. Kevin brought up another display, this one showing the defensive network around Earth and its colonies. We've developed redundant safety systems for every technology we use. Our quantum tunneling shields can absorb the energy of a supernova. Our antimatter containment systems. More shouts of alarm filled the chamber. The Arxian elder was actually glowing with distress. Antimatter containment. The elder wheezed. You're telling us that humans routinely handle antimatter? Of course, Kevin replied, looking puzzled. How else would we power our larger ships? The artificial quantum fields need a lot of energy, and antimatter reactors are the most efficient solution we found. Laura watched the council's reactions carefully. Some members looked ready to call for Earth's immediate quarantine. Others, particularly the younger species, seemed fascinated by humanity's technological achievements. A Draconid warrior rose from their seat, their scaled form impressive in ceremonial armor. Speaker, this cannot be allowed to continue. The humans are developing weapons that could destroy reality itself. We must act now. Before what? Laura asked quietly. Before we prove that there's more than one way to reach the stars. Before we show that evolution isn't the only path to advancement. She gestured at Kevin's displays. Yes, our technology is different from yours. Yes, it might seem dangerous to species who evolve different abilities. But we have achieved things your scientists thought impossible, and we did it safely. Safety is relative. The speaker noted, what humans consider acceptable risk is based on centuries of careful research and testing. Laura interrupted. We're not reckless. We're just not limited by preconceptions about what's possible. Kevin added another display, showing the Mars incident from Earth's perspective. The micro-singularities we used against the Silaxian fleet were engineered to evaporate harmlessly. We can control gravity itself, but we do it responsibly. The chamber fell silent as council members watched the replay. The precision of the artificial gravity wells, the careful calculations that used Jupiter's natural field as an amplifier. It was beautiful in a terrifying way. Perhaps, the Zelvan scientist said thoughtfully, we have been too quick to judge human methods. Their technology is different, yes, but the results are undeniable. The Draconid warrior snarled. Different? It's an abomination. They're building machines to twist the laws of physics. No, Laura corrected. We're building machines to understand and work with the laws of physics. Just because we do it differently doesn't make it wrong. The council chamber buzzed with debate. Laura could see the divisions forming. The species who feared human technology versus those who saw its potential. Whatever happened next would shape the future of human-alien relations. This discussion will require much meditation, the speaker finally announced. The council will recess to consider Earth's presentation. Admiral Martinez, please remain available for further questions. As the council members filed out, still arguing among themselves, Kevin leaned close to Laura. Think we convinced any of them? Some, she replied quietly, but I'm more worried about the ones we scared. Did you see the Draconid representative? That wasn't just fear in their eyes. That was the look of someone planning for war. Commander Daniel Foster knew the Draconid attack was coming. Everyone did. The only surprise was how quickly they moved after the council meeting broke down. Now he stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Orion, watching as over 300 Draconid warships emerged from quantum tunnels near the Proxima Centauri colony. "Status report," he called out, keeping his voice steady despite the odds they faced. "Enemy fleet is moving into attack formation," replied Sensor Officer Amy Collins. "Their energy readings are off the charts. They've modified their ships with some kind of new quantum technology." "They've been busy," Daniel noted. "What about our new defense systems?" "Phase shift generators are ready," reported Chief Engineer Paul Garcia. "Dimensional fold arrays are charged. FTL missile tubes are loaded and waiting for your command." The bridge crew worked with calm efficiency, even though they knew this would be the first real test of humanity's most advanced weapons. The Draconid Empire had spent months preparing for this attack, gathering allies who feared human technology. But Earth had been preparing too. "Message from the Draconid flagship," called out Communications Officer Lisa Brown. "They're demanding our immediate surrender and the shutdown of all human quantum technology." Daniel smiled slightly. "Send them our standard response." Lisa grinned as she pressed a button. The standard response was simply a detailed technical analysis of why their quantum suppression technology wouldn't work against human ships. Earth's psychologists had suggested that sending math instead of words would irritate the Draconids more than any insult. They were right. The Draconid fleet opened fire immediately. "Multiple quantum energy beams incoming," Amy reported. "Their yield is impossible. They've somehow combined their natural quantum abilities with artificial amplifiers." "Looks like we're not the only ones who can innovate," Daniel said. "Paul, activate the phase shift generators. Let's show them our latest trick." The Orion and its escort ships shimmered as the phase shift technology activated. The Draconid energy beams passed harmlessly through their hulls, hitting empty space where solid matter had been a moment before. "What sorcery is this?" The Draconid commander's voice boomed over the comm channel. "Our sensors show your ships are there, but our weapons pass through you like ghosts." "Not ghosts," Daniel corrected. "We've simply shifted our ships partially out of normal spacetime." "Paul, prepare a demonstration of our own weapons. Start with the FTL missiles." Paul's fingers danced across his console. FTL missile tubes 1 through 10 ready to fire. Dimensional fold arrays are aligned. Fire. 10 missiles shot from the Orion's launchers. Before the Draconid fleet could react, the missiles accelerated past light speed, creating their own micro-wormholes as they traveled. The Draconids' advanced shields were useless. The missiles emerged from their temporary wormholes directly inside their defensive perimeters. "Direct hits on 10 targets," Amy reported with professional calm. Their shields never activated because the missiles technically never crossed the space they were protecting. The Draconid fleet's perfect formation wavered as 10 of their largest ships went dark, their power systems overloaded by the impossible missiles that had bypassed their strongest defenses. "Impossible," the Draconid commander roared. "You cannot create stable wormholes at will. The energy requirements are quite reasonable when you understand the proper equations," Paul interrupted. "Commander, the dimensional fold arrays are ready for Phase 2. Daniel nodded. "Show them what happens when humans really start playing with spacetime." The dimensional fold arrays, humanity's newest innovation in space warfare, activated. Suddenly, half of the Draconid fleet's weapons fire curved back on itself, emerging from folds in space behind their own ships. The aliens watched in horror as their own energy beams struck their rear shields. "How?" The Draconid commander's voice had lost its arrogance. "You're folding space itself." "We learned long ago that space and time are flexible," Daniel replied. "If you understand the mathematics, you can make them bend to your will." "Paul, activate all remaining defensive systems. Show them everything." The space around the human fleet came alive with technology that the Galactic Council had deemed impossible. Artificial gravity wells danced between the ships, creating a defense grid that crushed incoming fire into harmless radiation. Quantum tunneling shields absorbed energy beams and redirected them through manufactured dimensional folds. Phase-shifted fighters passed through solid matter like it didn't exist, their weapons striking with perfect accuracy while remaining untouchable. "This is your final warning," Daniel broadcast to the Draconid fleet. "Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Withdraw now." "Never," the Draconid commander snarled. "All ships, concentrate fire. They cannot maintain these impossible technologies forever." "Actually, we can," Paul said, checking his readings. "Our antimatter reactors are still at 80% capacity. We can keep this up for days." The battle continued for another hour, but its outcome was never in doubt. Human technology, developed outside the Council's restrictive understanding of physics, proved superior at every turn. The Draconid fleet's natural quantum abilities, even amplified by artificial means, couldn't compete with humanity's engineered solutions. "Enemy fleet is retreating," Amy reported finally. 87 ships destroyed or disabled. No casualties on our side. Phase shift generators and dimensional fold arrays performed perfectly. "Send a full battle report to Earth Command," Daniel ordered. "They'll want to analyze everything we learned about Draconid capabilities." He paused, watching the remaining alien ships flee through their quantum tunnels. "And send our sensor data to the Galactic Council. They should see exactly what happened here." Lisa looked up from her communications console. "Sir, we're receiving messages from some of the younger Council species. They're impressed by our technology. Several are requesting diplomatic meetings to discuss possible technological exchange programs." Daniel smiled. The Draconids' attack had backfired completely. Instead of proving human technology was too dangerous to exist, they had proven it was too valuable to ignore. "Send them a polite acknowledgement," he said, "but remind them that Earth's defensive technologies remain classified until the Council formally recognizes our right to develop our own path to the stars." As the bridge crew began post-battle procedures, Daniel watched the sensor displays track the retreating Draconid ships. The battle was over, but he knew the larger conflict was still unfolding. The Council would have to face a difficult truth. Humanity's impossible technology wasn't just equal to their evolved abilities. In many ways, it was superior. "Sir," Paul called out, examining new data on his screen. "I'm detecting some unusual quantum readings from the colony. The battle seems to have triggered something in the human colonists. Their neural patterns are changing." Daniel raised an eyebrow. It seemed the story wasn't over yet. "Get me Earth Command. They're going to want to hear about this immediately." Chief Science Officer Michelle Carter stared at her laboratory readings in amazement. After 3 days of non-stop analysis, she finally understood what had happened during the Battle of Proxima Centauri. The discovery was so incredible that she had triple-checked everything before calling this emergency meeting. "You're certain about this?" Admiral Martinez asked, looking at the holographic display of neural patterns floating above Michelle's lab table. The room was packed with Earth's top military and scientific leaders, all drawn by the urgency of her message. "Completely certain," Michelle replied. "The massive quantum fields generated during the battle acted as a catalyst. They activated something that was already present in human neural patterns, something we never noticed before." Kevin Wright, who had been studying the technical data, looked up with wide eyes. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" Michelle nodded. "Humans didn't evolve natural quantum manipulation abilities like the Council species because we evolved something different. Our brains are quantum computers, natural ones. That's why we can understand and control artificial quantum fields so easily. We're not forcing the universe to obey us. We're speaking its language in our own unique way." The room erupted in excited discussion. On the main screen, even the Council representatives looked stunned. The emergency meeting was being broadcast to both human colonies and the Council's central station. "Explain this in simple terms," the crystalline speaker requested. "What exactly are you saying about human neural patterns?" Michelle stood, using her tablet to project a larger image of human brain activity. Every species in the Council evolved to naturally generate and manipulate quantum fields. Humans evolved to naturally understand and calculate them instead. Our technology works because, at a fundamental level, we can see and comprehend quantum mathematics in ways other species can't. That's why human quantum technology seems so different, Kevin added excitedly. We're not trying to copy what evolved species do. We're building machines that work the way our brains work. The Arxian elder, who had opposed human methods so strongly before, leaned forward with interest. This would explain much. The precision of your artificial quantum fields, your ability to create stable micro-singularities, your understanding of space-time manipulation. And it explains why our attempts to suppress human technology failed so completely, added the Xilaxian commander who had led the first attempted blockade of Mars. We were trying to interrupt quantum field generation, but human machines don't generate fields. They shape and direct them using pure mathematics. Laura Martinez stepped forward. More importantly, it proves that humanity's path to the stars is just as natural as yours. We're not breaking the universe's laws. We're just reading them in our own language. The Draconid representative, still nursing wounds to both body and pride after their failed attack, growled softly. This changes nothing. Their technology is still too dangerous to be allowed. Actually, Michelle interrupted, this changes everything. She brought up new data from the Proxima Centauri battle. The quantum fields generated during the battle didn't just help us understand human neural patterns. They enhanced them. Every human in the colony is showing increased quantum mathematical ability. We're evolving, not to manipulate quantum fields directly, but to understand them even better. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just another species taking a different path to the stars. They were a completely new type of quantum-capable life form. The council must recess to discuss these developments, the speaker announced. But before they could close the session, a young Zelvan scientist spoke up. Why recess? The Zelvan asked. These humans have proven themselves again and again. Their technology works. Their understanding of quantum physics might be different from ours, but it's clearly valid. And now we know it's a natural part of their evolution. I move that we formally recognize humanity's right to develop their own path to the stars. Support came from unexpected quarters. The Xilaxian commander raised a tentacle in agreement. Their defensive technology saved my life during the Draconid attack. When their dimensional fold arrays redirected enemy fire, they could have sent it directly into our ships. Instead, they carefully calculated safe trajectories for every redirected beam. That's not the action of a reckless species. One by one, council members began to signal agreement. Even some of the older species, traditionally the most conservative, were swayed by the evidence of humanity's unique evolution. Perhaps, the Arxian elder said slowly, we have been too rigid in our understanding of proper technological development. Humans may have much to teach us about quantum mathematics, just as we may help them better understand natural quantum field manipulation. The speaker's crystalline form pulsed with light as they processed the council's changing mood. A formal vote will be taken. But first, Admiral Martinez, what are humanity's terms for peace? Laura stepped forward. Simple. Earth and its colonies remain independent. We continue developing our technology, but we'll share advances in quantum safety protocols. In return, we'd like to open diplomatic and scientific relations with any species willing to look past their fears of different approaches. And if we agree, the speaker asked, what guarantees do we have that human technology won't destabilize the galaxy? Michelle answered at one. The same guarantee you've always had, the laws of physics themselves. We may read them differently, but we all have to follow them. Our machines work because we understand those laws, not because we break them. The vote, when it came, was overwhelming. The council formally recognized humanity's right to develop their own path to the stars. More surprisingly, Over 40 species immediately requested technological and scientific exchange programs. As the meeting ended, Kevin turned to Michelle with a grin. "So, humans are natural quantum mathematicians. That's going to change everything we thought we knew about our own technology." "It already has," Michelle replied, watching new data flow in from the colonies. "The more humans work with quantum fields, the more our natural abilities grow. We're not just reading the language of the universe, we're becoming fluent in it." Laura Martinez smiled as she watched council members excitedly discussing exchange programs with human representatives. Not bad for a species that was supposed to give up its technology and wait a few thousand years to evolve properly. "Speaking of evolution," Michelle added, checking her tablet, "you should see the latest readings from the children born in space colonies. Their quantum mathematical abilities are off the charts. The next generation of humans won't just understand the language of the universe, they'll be native speakers." The war was over, but humanity's journey to the stars was just beginning. They had proven that there was more than one way to reach for the infinite, more than one path to understanding the universe's deepest laws. And in doing so, they had changed not just themselves, but the entire galaxy's understanding of what was possible. As the council session ended, the speaker made one final observation that would be recorded in both human and alien histories. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic civilization. We have learned that the universe speaks many languages, and all of them are worth hearing.